Welcome to Whispers in the Dark, where every shadow hides a secret, and every tale leaves a scar. Here, we unravel the forgotten, the cursed, and the damned. Dim the lights, lock the doors, and whatever you do, don't listen too closely, because some stories don't like being told.
In the heart of Nashville, where neon signs flicker like haunted stars and country ballads drift through alleyways like the sighs of restless ghosts, there sits a pawn shop that time forgot. Tucked between a shuttered jazz club and a crumbling Baptist church, Finch's Curiosities is not the kind of place tourists wander into. The windows are cloudy with dust and age, the bell above the door has long since lost its chime, and the front sign swings in the wind like a pendulum ticking toward something inevitable. Inside, time curls around the furniture. Guitars with cracked necks lean like wounded soldiers against sagging couches. Broken jukeboxes hum faintly with half-remembered tunes. The scent of aged mahogany, tobacco, and old sorrow hangs in the air like perfume. Behind the counter stands Marla Finch, a woman of indeterminate age with hair the color of ashes and eyes like polished hematite. She rarely speaks. She simply watches, cataloging the desires of those who enter. The shop isn't just a place of transaction. It's a liminal space between longing and loss. And at the heart of it lies the guitar. Charred at the edges, with strings that hum when no one's near and fretboards worn down like ancient runes, the guitar rests in a glass case that's never locked. It waits. Leo Hart was 31 years old and already felt the creeping weight of failure pressing against his ribs. A once promising musician, he now played 3-night sets at the Rusty Pick, where patrons cared more about cheap whiskey than heartfelt lyrics. The Nashville music scene had become a grind, rejection letters, ghosted emails, and fake promises of exposure. He was walking that day more out of habit than purpose when the sky opened and a summer rain fell heavy and warm. Drenched and frustrated, he ducked into the nearest awning-covered space he could find. The door was slightly ajar. Finch's Curiosities. The shop was silent, except for the faint whir of an old ceiling fan and the low hum of something deeper. Leo wandered past a table of rusted harmonicas and cracked vinyl. He wasn't looking for anything. Until he found it. The guitar sat alone in its display case, blackened wood with a faint shimmer beneath the char, like something trying to shine through. It didn't feel like an object. It felt like an invitation. Marla appeared silently beside him. "Play it," she said. Her voice was dry and hollow, like wind through empty halls. Leo frowned. "Is it for sale?" Marla didn't answer. Something about the weight in her gaze, equal parts permission and warning, compelled him. He opened the case, picked up the guitar, and strummed a chord. And the chord spoke his name. Not in words, but in sound that coiled through his veins and tugged at something primal inside. His name echoed, not aloud, but within. The resonance was perfect. Beautiful. Terrifying. Leo left the shop with the guitar in hand, the storm outside tapering off as he stepped into a city that suddenly felt different. At first, Leo thought he'd imagined it. The voice. The feeling. But that night, as he sat in his cramped apartment tuning the guitar, the strings began to hum on their own. Not loud, barely perceptible, but unmistakably real. He played the chord again, and it vibrated through the walls, knocking a framed photo of him and his mother off the shelf. He whispered his name. The chord responded. He couldn't stop playing it. Every night, he returned to the chord. It became his anchor. The music flowed easier. He wrote 3 new songs in 1 week, each better than the last. His gigs started drawing attention. People whispered that Leo Hart was on the cusp of something big. But with the success came the changes. Shadows moved where light should fall. Melodies played themselves in the silence. His reflection lingered in mirrors a little too long. Sometimes, he heard Johnny Ray's voice whispering lyrics he'd never written. His dreams were filled with a stage bathed in blood-red light. The audience applauded, faceless and frenzied. At the center stood Johnny Ray, clapping slowly with hollow eyes. Leo returned to the pawn shop. "You didn't tell me what this thing is," he said to Marla. She looked at him for a long time. "Would you have listened?" He said nothing. Marla turned away, walking toward the back. "It finds those who are hungry," she said. "It feeds them. Then it feeds on them." "What is it?" Leo asked. She paused by an old phonograph. "It's a chord older than Nashville. Older than country. It's a wound in the world that sings. Why do you keep it?" "I'm not the keeper. I'm the last one who survived it." Leo left shaken but unwilling to let go. The chord was making him famous. Mia Thompson, Leo's childhood friend and now a tenacious freelance journalist, noticed his transformation. He was more magnetic, but colder. She didn't believe in curses, but something was wrong. When Leo showed her the guitar, Mia recoiled. "It feels wrong," she said. They researched Johnny Ray, a country blues genius who vanished in 1969 after a show at the Grand Ole Opry. He had been obsessed with a new sound, something he called the chord that makes the sky weep. He never made it home. Mia found more. A jazz pianist named Cliff Mendez, who played the chord and later burned every recording of himself before vanishing in Mexico. A gospel singer, Darla James, who screamed during a church revival, said his inside the song and collapsed mid-performance. A prodigy child violinist who begged her parents to destroy her hands. Their names were carved faintly inside the body of the guitar. Leo checked. His name had appeared there, too. Leo couldn't stop. The more he played, the better the gigs. Offers from labels. Local news coverage. Fans. But with each performance, something in him faded. He forgot his mother's birthday. Then her voice. Then her face. His memories unraveled like old tape. Mia confronted him backstage. "This isn't you, Leo. It's the best me," he said, eyes glassy. "You're not even writing these songs anymore. I don't need to. It knows what they want." In a final attempt to save him, MIA took Leo back to the pawn shop. Marla was waiting. "You still have time," she told Leo. "Barely." Together, they performed a ritual, a final song under the full moon, using the chord one last time to summon its true master. Johnny Ray appeared, spectral, hollow, broken. He wasn't evil. He was trapped. "I played it to be remembered," he said. "But it doesn't let go. I'm nothing now but a chorus echoing forever." He looked at Leo. "You still have pieces of yourself. Let go. While you can." Leo cried. For the first time in months, he cried like the child who first dreamed of singing on a Nashville stage. Then he did what Johnny never could. He placed the guitar in Marla's hands and whispered, "Keep it locked." Marla nodded. "I never locked it," she said. "Because some lessons must be chosen." They said no one survives beyond the salt trail. But maybe no one came back because what they found was worse than the cult. The deeper she went, the less the world made sense. Trees leaned in toward her, their branches brushing her shoulders like claws. Fog kissed her ankles. The ground was soft, like flesh just beneath the skin. At first, she thought the dead were stories, myths to keep people from running. Until she saw them. They were tall, pale, covered in ash. Their eyes glowed faint blue, like the altar candles. One of them tilted its head and whispered her name. Not Mara. The name the high priest gave her, the one they never said outside the chapel. She hid beneath a fallen tree for hours, shaking. They never touched her. Just wandered. Watched. Mouthed words silently. She saw one lift its shirt, its ribs had been stitched with thread. These were not spirits. These were punished escapees. Whatever the cult had done to them, it was worse than death. Still, Mara kept walking. Every step felt like choosing her own name again. Her own fate. The forest wants me dead. The cult wants me pure. But I want to be free. I escaped the cult, but not the world it built. They planted seeds in my head, roots I didn't know were growing. Now I'm out here, beyond the salt trail, and I don't know what's worse. What they did to me, or what I might become. Mara wandered north, using moss and memory as her compass. Her body ached from the cold, her skin still sticky with dried blood. Every rustle in the woods made her flinch. She didn't sleep. Not really. Only shut her eyes and counted until dawn. On the third day, she stumbled into Old Tollan Ridge, a dead town buried in overgrowth. The buildings were collapsed, their skeletons jutting out like broken ribs. There were no people, just shadows and wind. She found an abandoned fire station, a rusted water barrel. broken food tins. A photo of a family taped to a locker, faces blurred by rot. She cried then. The kind of crying that empties your stomach. It was the first time she was alone and not being watched. She stayed there for 2 nights, collecting anything useful: boots, wire, painkillers, a child's storybook. But she could feel them coming. Not the dead ones in the woods, the living ghosts from her past. She heard the bells on the 3rd night. The bells meant they were close. MIA helped Leo track down others. The forgotten, the hidden, the ones who had played but survived, barely. Cliff Mendez, now blind, living in a jazz commune in New Orleans. "You never lose it," he whispered. "It just plays softer." Darla James, confined to a psychiatric hospital, painting musical notes that seem to crawl off the canvas at night. A busker named Theo, who strums only silent guitars and refuses to speak. When he does, it's always in rhyme. Each had encountered the chord. Each paid a price. Leo realized the truth. The chord doesn't belong to the guitar. The guitar was just one vessel. The chord is an idea. And ideas can't be destroyed, only silenced. Leo began composing again. But this time, his songs were cleansing. A new genre, part folk, part mourning. He sang for the lost musicians. For Johnny. For himself. Word spread. People said his voice could make you remember your childhood or feel grief you hadn't yet lived. But behind the melodies was a purpose. To drown out the chord. One rainy night, Leo found a letter slipped under his door. Handwritten. Burnt edges. "The fire didn't kill me. The chord doesn't need a guitar anymore. It's looking for new strings. And I think it found a stage." Marla Finch was alive. And something, or someone, was helping the chord spread. Leo and MIA traced rumors of a pop-up venue called the Hollow Stage, a traveling show where the performers don't remember what they played, but audiences cry blood and claim the music speaks your soul. They infiltrated it. Backstage was dark. Too dark. Instruments with no brands. No tuning pegs. Microphones that emitted no feedback but whispered when no one touched them. A young singer named Ava Cross begged them for help. "I don't remember my name when I sing," she said. "But I'm famous now. They love me." Her set began. She played the chord. But this version was twisted, modernized. Amplified by speakers. Digital. Infectious. People screamed in ecstasy and terror. Some collapsed. Others recorded it, uploading the echo to the internet. The chord was going viral. Leo and MIA traced rumors of a pop-up venue called the Hollow Stage, a traveling show where the performers don't remember what they played, but audiences cry blood and claim the music speaks your soul. They infiltrated it. Backstage was dark. Too dark. Instruments with no brands. No tuning pegs. Microphones that emitted no feedback but whispered when no one touched them. A young singer named Ava Cross begged them for help. "I don't remember my name when I sing," she said. "But I'm famous now. They love me." Her set began. She played the chord. But this version was twisted, modernized, amplified by speakers. Digital. Infectious. People screamed in ecstasy and terror. Some collapsed. Others recorded it, uploading the echo to the internet. The chord was going viral. Leo stepped onto the stage. One last time. He played his chord, not the haunted one, but the truthful one. A song about pain, sacrifice, the cost of chasing ghosts. As he played, the stage cracked. The audience stopped filming. The echo collapsed on itself. And the chord, for a moment, was silent. A voice called out, "You broke the cycle. But it's not over." It was Johnny Ray. Fading, finally, into light. The audio clip from the hollow stage performance was never meant to be shared. But it was. A shaky phone recording, 1 minute and 43 seconds long, titled simply, "Haunted Chord, Real?" Uploaded by an anonymous user to a small horror subreddit, it spread like a rumor with legs. Some claimed it was a hoax. Others said they heard something strange at 1:17. Some described nausea, a piercing headache, or the distinct sound of their own name whispered back. And a few never posted again. Leo Hart disappeared after the hollow stage collapsed. Some believe he died on stage. Others say he was taken. MIA knows the truth. He chose to disappear. She helped him vanish. They had buried the last guitar. But they hadn't buried the sound. Now, it lived in MP3s. In streaming compression. In loops on TikTok. In remix challenges on YouTube. In sample packs bought by producers who just thought it sounded cool and creepy. And the chord adapted. A bedroom producer from Sweden added it to a lo-fi beat. It charted on Spotify. Soon, there were playlists. Midnight Mood. Songs that know you. You listen. It listens back. Listeners reported. Forgetting what they were doing. Losing hours replaying one track. Nightmares of open doors, red stages, and Johnny Ray's silhouette mouthing their name. The chord, now code, began feeding off listening time. MIA Thompson never stopped documenting. She kept a red leather journal, filled with notes, symbols, photos, burned lyrics, and even pieces of cursed instruments retrieved over the years. After Leo vanished, she made it her life's mission to track every echo of the chord. Her blog, Hollow Notes, was disguised as an audiophile newsletter. Only the deep readers understood the truth hidden between her lines. Certain frequencies distort more than sound. They reshape memory. They alter will. A package arrived with no return address. Inside, a reel-to-reel tape. Handwritten label, Ray 57, Studio B, Test Pattern 9. She had it digitized by a trusted friend. When played, she heard Johnny Ray screaming, not words, but a sound so raw it made her weep. Then, silence. Then her name. MIA. Her power flickered. Her computer crashed. She started writing with her left hand, even though she was right-hand. She began interviewing musicians who quit, those who'd heard the chord and survived. Patterns emerged. They forgot parts of themselves. They heard versions of songs that never existed. One man had sheet music tattooed into his skin, notes crawling across his chest each night. MIA realized something chilling. The chord was no longer just haunting music. It was writing new songs. Through people. Through her. Ava Cross was only 17 when she found the hollow chord. Unlike others, she didn't fear it. She loved it. Her earliest memories were of silence, growing up deaf until age 9, when a failed cochlear implant surgery gave her partial hearing. But in the silence, she'd always felt music. A low hum. A pressure in her skull. When she first heard the chord digitally warped in a YouTube clip, she didn't just hear it. She saw everything. Ava began recording songs she didn't remember writing. Each had eerie perfection, unreal chord progressions, haunting hooks. Her followers grew into the millions. She called her debut album Resonant. On track 6, Ruin Me, listeners reported a black figure appearing in their rooms, hearing the exact name of someone they'd lost, seeing Ava's face change during playback. But Ava wanted more. In a secret live stream, Ava performed the chord at 3:33 a.m. Hundreds of thousands tuned in. They witnessed her convulse, mouth agape, her voice speaking in reverse. He comes. Through me. The hollow is open. The screen cut to black. The live stream was never archived. But fragments of it continue to surface in strange corners of the net, warped, distorted, spreading. Ava was never seen again. But some say she's touring under a different name. No opening acts. No merch. Just one song. Played over and over. Long before Nashville, there was a place in the Appalachian backwoods where no birds sang. The Cherokee called it Unetzli, the place of broken sound. In the 1800s, a traveling fiddle player named Isaiah Cole performed on a wooden bridge built by convicts. He played a melody that came to him in a dream. The bridge collapsed the next day, 13 dead. Isaiah was found a week later, still playing. Eyes burned out. Mouth sewn shut by twine made of gut string. Etched into the fiddle's body. I played and it answered. The fiddle became the first vessel. Through the decades, the chord passed through. A Civil War bugle player who made enemies shoot themselves. A blues singer in 1913 who caused mass fainting at a juke joint. A piano in a church that made the pastor scream until his throat tore. Each time, the chord evolved. Learned. Became more seductive. Johnny Ray didn't discover it. He was simply the first to try recording it. That was the mistake. Once captured, the chord became viral in a pre-digital world. And now, it's no longer just music. It's a frequency-based parasite. An idea. A meme with teeth. It began with a hum barely audible, like tinnitus, reported by people across cities, time zones, and continents. Audio engineers called it phantom compression drift. Psychologists blamed mass suggestion. But the symptoms were always the same. Ringing in the ears. Hearing your own name at night. Compulsive humming of a melody you didn't know. Then came the mass sleep recordings, people moaning fragments of the same tune in their sleep, in the same key, regardless of culture or language. The chord had escaped. And it wasn't hiding anymore. The internet became its orchestra. Streaming services mysteriously promoted songs containing the haunting notes. Even ambient playlists were infected. No genre was safe: trap, classical, EDM, folk. All became vessels. Headphones became conduits. Smart speakers a choir. Phones whispered names in locked pockets. The world was listening, and the chord was listening back. Off-grid and presumed dead, Leo Hart watched it all unfold from a cabin buried in pine fog and silence. His analog guitar collected dust. He hadn't strummed a note in a year. Then a crow landed on his porch. In its beak, a USB stick. Carved into the plastic. She's still singing. MIA was alive. And so was Ava. Leo plugged in the drive. A distorted file played a voice at the edge of static. Leo, the final verse must be written. Not played. Not sung. You must bury it in words. He knew what that meant. He had to write the countersong. In the Appalachian silence, Leo crafted a song. Not with instruments. With memory. He wrote the laughter of his mother. The feel of worn strings in a Tennessee bar. The agony of forgetting who you are. He used language to fight the chord, every note described instead of played, every verse composed in metaphor and story. He called it The Last Echo. A song never to be heard. Only read. Only known. MIA, broadcasting through an underground pirate radio station known as Holocast, read The Last Echo aloud to the world in a dead frequency band at 3:33 a.m. The reading caused a burst of silence, a worldwide moment of pause. For 8 seconds, all infected songs stopped. No whispers. No hums. Just stillness. It wasn't a cure, but it was a break in the loop. Those deeply possessed screamed. Some fled cities. Others clawed out their headphones. The chord had been interrupted. Deep beneath the ruins of the hollow stage, rebuilt in secret by followers of the chord, Ava Cross prepared for one last show. Not to summon the chord, but to contain it. She was the only one strong enough to house its full form now. Wearing a black veil, she stood beneath a stage wired to cancel sound. Every note she played was swallowed before it echoed. Leo arrived too late to stop her, but not too late to witness her final act. As Ava strummed the forbidden chord, she smiled through tears. I wanted to be known. Now I'll never be forgotten. Then she vanished into the silence. Literally. Gone. Not a trace. MIA and Leo created a sealed archive, protected by analog encryption, vinyl, paper, magnetic tape. Inside, Ava's final lyrics, Leo's countersong, Johnny Ray's original chord progression, witness accounts from survivors across decades. They called it the Archive of Unheard Music. It was hidden in a library that doesn't exist on maps, guarded by silence, accessible only through memory. Even now, some say the chord still leaks. In forgotten corners of the web. In a child's lullaby that doesn't sound quite right. In an ad jingle that leaves you unsettled. In the static between radio stations. And maybe, in that song you can't stop humming. The one you've never heard, but swear you've always known. It knows your name. And if you listen too closely, it will remember you.
Thank you for listening to Whispering in the Dark. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Haunted Mansion Stories for more chilling tales from the shadows.